What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sequence. This episode is brought to you by DraftKings. I am your host, Trevor Plouffe, and today we have a very, very special guest. All-Star, World Series champ, my man, Philip Hughes. How are you?
What's up, bro? Thanks for having me.
I'm very excited to have you on. Obviously, we go way back. You have had an incredible career. You hung them up. You started getting into the card collecting industry. What's the real term for that?
Yeah, I mean, card collecting industry, card industry. Yeah, a booming industry, I might add.
Dude, you've blown up. You've
and not necessarily just from that standpoint, but yeah, I mean, cards are coming back in a big way, and I mean, this is a topic for a whole different discussion. But with sports kind of not being around these last few months. People are itching to gamble, as you know, and cards are just a legal way of gambling. So it's been a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, your YouTube channel's blown up. It's Phil's Pools. We'll drop
Phil's Pools, yeah.
Go check it out. You open a ton of higher end stuff, which is really cool to see. It really does give you that rush, a little bit of that gambling vibe. In fact, I'm joining you in a box war.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. We got a 12-man box war, current and former players. Trevor's in it, Mike Trout, CC Sabathia, A-Rod. It should be a lot of fun. It's
insane. You've got incredible talent in there, and then me. So I appreciate you extending the invite.
Yeah, you and me, just along for the ride.
Me and Dan Heron are going head-to-head first round, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
But like I said, we go way back. Same draft class. 2004, we came up. Same agent. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
played together for a few years.
You're the star in the Yankees org coming up. You make it to the big leagues at 20 years old. Then you're part of a World Series title run in 2009. We end up playing together. You're well-traveled. And the one season that I'll always remember is 2014. And you were absolutely lights out that year. And you were one of the guys I loved to play behind because of the way you approached it. Like, you just threw strikes and you kept everybody on your toes. And as a defender, any defender out there knows like those are the guys you want to play behind. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, especially in a year like that where we were absolutely miserable. You wanted those games to go by as quickly as possible. So that's what I tried to do.
We were pretty bad.
I think it was not. Did we lose 90 games that year?
But you set, maybe not 90. But you set that year. You set the strikeout to walk ratio for all of MLB or just for the AL?
Single season all time. Yeah.
Incredible, and it felt like that. Like, it felt like you turbocharged through the lineups every game. So. Which kind of brings me to the next question that I like to ask the pitchers that come on. Can you go ahead and kind of describe the pitch mix?
Well, I mean, depends on what year, to be honest.
Okay. Let's start with Baby Phil in 2009, which we're going to watch the first video today.
So 2009, I threw basically. So when I came up as a starter, because I started the year in the minor leagues, I was coming off a horrible 2008 season where I started the year in the rotation, got hurt, and they wanted me to go to AAA and do my thing there. So Chim-Ming Wong gets hurt, like I think first couple weeks of the season. I get called up to make some starts in his place. Did okay, and then he comes back from the DL, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna have to send you back down or do something." But they decided to put me in the pen, and I kind of rolled with that and just started throwing like a lot more fastballs. For whatever reason, the confidence went up, and I started to feel like I belonged a little bit, I guess. I think every player at some point hits that mark where they're like, okay, like I can do this now. And it almost is like a light bulb moment where you're like, okay, I can attack with fastballs. And I think hitters go through the same thing. Like, you get to the big leagues and you're like, oh, I got to do something different because these are big league pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was going to the pen, just realizing like I could throw fastballs by like really, really good hitters.
So yeah, I mean, when I think about you, I think about your cutter. I think about kind of that, I don't know if it was a 2-seamer or a 4-seamer, kind of like rode it up and in, and then big curveball. Mm-hmm. Do you consider that?
Yeah. So this year out of the pen, I was basically 4-seam fastball, occasional curveball, and like a cutter, which then was more like a slider.
Yes.
But in the later years, it became more cutter-like, I guess.
That was my question, was do you consider the cutter like a fastball, or was it an off-speed pitch?
So it's funny because it all depends on who you ask. Like I had the privilege to be around a lot of like really good veteran pitchers in New York, and Andy Pettit threw basically, I wouldn't even call it a cutter. I would have called it, I wouldn't even call it a slider. I would have called it like a slurve, and he called it a cutter just because it kept his mindset to throw the shit out of it. You know what I mean? And other guys like CeCe, for instance, did the same thing. He called his slider a cutter, and it was just to mentally get you to not try to make it a breaking ball, I guess, and just make it a hard, firm pitch, even though in reality they were both basically sliders.
Did you learn that? Did you learn your grip from one of them, or was that something you've already been doing?
So I took my grip off of kind of like a mix of Mariano's and my own kind of thing, just because I grip my fastball the opposite way. So the horseshoe is always to the left of my index finger, which most guys traditionally, and you probably throw a baseball this way, where the horseshoe is on the right side of your middle finger. So the opening would be on the left. For me, the opening was always on the right. So I basically took Mariano's grip, but it was just opposite because of the way I grip my fastball. So
you almost held it like a 4-seam fastball, but just the pressure was different?
Yeah, so it was just fingers are off a little bit, and then thumb just slides kind of just underneath the ball, just to make it just cuts just a little bit.
Interesting.
But the video that we'll watch, it was more like a slider. So it just kind of morphed as the years went on. And then in 14, my cutter was more like on the same plane, almost like true to what you think of as a cut fastball, I guess.
What do you think they would do to and this is 2009, so a 23-year-old Phil Hughes? What do you think they'd do to or with him now, with kind of the way they approach hitters and the technology that they have?
You mean as far as how hitters would approach?
No, what do you think the pitching coaches would want you to do? We've seen seen guys, go back to the 4-seam fastball.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd see more of that out of you?
Honestly, the way I pitched out of the pen in 2009, I think pitching coaches now would very much encourage the way that I attacked hitters then now, just with, the whole, launch angle and riding 4-seam fastballs up in the zone. That was like 98% of what I did that year, was just attack with fastballs. And I don't know if this is real, and maybe you can say if it's not, but I feel like when a pitcher is confident, their stuff plays up even more. And that might sound ridiculous, but, when guys are aggressive and confident and you can like feel that presence on the mound, I feel like the radar gun may say one thing, but it's a completely different fastball in the batter's box.
I can attest to that. When a guy's there and he just wants to shove and he's throwing his pitches and is like, if I execute, you're out, you feel that.
Sure.
And there are some guys who, whether it's they pitch like this all the time or they're just having a bad stretch, like you feel like they're trying not to make mistakes.
Right.
And those are the guys you're like, okay, let me get a couple hits because I got that animal the next day on the mound.
And then, and then before you know it, they are making mistakes, because when you're afraid to make mistakes, that's usually when most of them come.
Love it, man. All right, well, let's get into the video. Before we do, here's the ad read. Grab your peanuts and popcorn. Baseball is back. That's right. The boys will be getting back out on the diamond, and while we may not be able to join them in the stadium, there's plenty of action to be had from the comfort of your home. There's no better place to get in on the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. To celebrate baseball coming back, DraftKings Sportsbook is offering free bets for every home run your team hits. Taking advantage of this Grand Slam offer is easy. All you have to do is place a pregame bet of at least $25 on your home team, and for every home run they hit in that game, you get $5 worth of free bets. Bet the team. They hit the home runs. Double down. We get more money. I like it. Additionally, DraftKings Sportsbook is offering all new users a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Anything for free is for me. I like that offer. Don't worry if baseball isn't your game. DraftKings offers great odds and promotions on all sports ranging from ping pong to basketball. If you want to bet ping pong, you can do it. DraftKings Sportsbook is US based, making it safe, secure, and reliable. Gotta love that. Plus, it's easy to deposit and withdraw your funds whenever you want, which is a huge thing. All the books want to take your money. Are they going to give you your money when you want it? DraftKings will. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code JOHNBOY when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That's code JOHNBOY, JOMBOY, to get your sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Phil, we got the video keyed up. We see your stats right there, 5-3 with a 3.33. And I think towards the end of this year, you're like going, like you're hot. So these numbers are on their way down. Do you remember feeling locked in?
Yeah, this was kind of like in the middle of my bullpen run. A big chunk of that ERA was starting. Mm-hmm. And I think I forget how long it was, but there was a 6-week to 2-month period where I think I had like a sub-1. And then this was kind of right in the middle of that. So I was feeling really good. I was already pitching the 8th inning, where when I went down there, I was the long guy. So I was like a 1 inning 4-out guy at this point. And, the Yankees we were rolling at this point. We were winning a bunch of games and close games. And this is one of them. This
is, a cool at bat because it's another guy that we both played with, Jim Thome, who's a legend. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, like, this guy, he was like a superhuman, like big person, like just he looked different than other people, and I think you can kind of see it when you look at him in the box. So no, for sure, he's one of the best ever. And this was a big inning for me, just because I had the meat in this inning. A lot of times you want your closer to face the best parts of the lineup, but in the 8th here I had Thome, Konerko, Jermaine Dye. So yeah, there it is right there. Thome is having a rough day. Maybe Jim went out for a little steak and some adult beverages. Yeah, I don't know who started this game for us, but they pitched pretty well. Cause I think it was a 2-2 game. Yeah, in the 8th, I think it was a tie game. So Gordon Beckham, I think he's fresh off winning Rookie of the Year or something like that. Yeah, he was the guy. Carlos Quentin, Alex Rios. Yeah, pretty good lineup. Yeah, but we got Big Jim coming up here. Intimidating in the box. Look at him. First pitch is. So I try to go heater in, miss up. It's a good place. It's a good place to go with him, and it always was. I mean, just that, hard in under his hands. Don't let him get those big, hairy forearms extended. I gotta say, you could have got a strike there, but this is Jim Thome at the plate. That's one of those pitches I don't want. Probably not one I'm going to get either. Yeah. But all right, and I look at your setting up away. So just trying to steal a strike, get back in the count. Little fastball down and away. Kind of a weird swing there for a 1-0 count. He's probably hunting a heater. And it looks like he was almost a little out in front of that, and took a fastball kind of mid away and banged it into his shin. He doesn't look like he's seeing the ball very well. Look right there. He's in between.
Well, judging by the 0 for 3 with 3 punches, he's probably not feeling that great at the plate at this particular moment. So I did maybe get a little fortunate there.
Yeah, and that was dotted, though. That was down in the way. You hit your spot.
Yeah, it was a good pitch.
Now you go 1-1.
So here we're going back in, and I just miss with a cutter that just spun. Cement mixer cutter that just ran right down the middle, and he probably was like, what on earth was that?
Man, we talk about that as hitters. Like sometimes the backup slider is the hardest pitch. You expect it to break, it doesn't, and then you're sitting there like, wow, I should have killed that pitch, but I didn't.
Right, and he could probably, I don't know how much these guys peak and stuff like that, but you can feel when a guy's coming into you, I bet. And, he was probably looking for something in and just got a cement mixer right down the middle, and unfortunately for Jim, he needed to take advantage of that because, he wasn't getting another mistake like that on 2 strikes.
Well, it's interesting because you started that heater away. He saw it. He saw your fastball, and then you came back with another one, and he was kind of in between, a little late. And then you go ahead and throw him the cement mixer away, and he swings through it. So now, if I'm Jim, I'm like, I don't know what's coming.
Right.
Like
and what's funny is, 2 of the 3 pitches were misses, and the intent was off on all of them. So I finally execute a pitch, and we'll see what happens.
So you've been trying to go in this entire bat, kind of been missing arm side, and then here's your correction pitch.
And what's funny about this too is Posada caught 90% of the games, but here it's Jose Molina.
Okay.
And Posada had a tendency to like wanting to just go with what was working. Whereas Molina kind of did this thing where he wanted you to execute the pitch that you were struggling with. And he wanted you to like find that. So like normally in this situation, I would just try to blow heaters. But because I had missed with that cutter so badly, he wanted me to come back to it.
Interesting.
So he was interesting in that way.
Yeah, and now I'm wondering like if Jim it kind of looks like Jim was up there maybe looking to pull the ball.
Right.
And got
with that short porch right there, what lefty isn't,
And now you're showing him away on accident, and you've kind of you've opened up the inside part of the plate.
Sure.
Molina can steal strikes too, by the way.
Oh yeah, especially down. His hands were unreal. All right, so we go back in, execute a heater in 94. So that was probably the pitch that set up everything in this at bat, because he saw the cement mixer out over the plate, and then I finally got in on him to speed him up a little bit. And even though he fouls it off, like it kind of did everything I needed it to do. You know what I mean? Like I would have loved if he swung through it. Like I'll take that. But now I could go back down away. I could probably bury a curveball. Like it just opens so many other things up for me.
Yeah, and where that was located, even if he puts the barrel on it, he's pulling it foul.
There's not much you can do with that pitch unless you're Joey Votto or some mutant.
And there he is. That's just how I remember you, like facing you, right there. All right.
I'm shocked that we're not going over an at bat I had against you, but
this is successes only, baby. All right. Well, like you said, you opened up every part of the plate. There's Joba.
I could basically
Joba or Jabba?
Jabba.
I feel like I always call him Joba. All right. I like Joba.
He may have started this game, to be honest with you.
Let's go back and watch that again.
Yeah. So this is what I called my cutter. Basically the exact same pitch that ran out over the plate the first time, and it has like depth. It wasn't like the cutter that that I threw later in my career, but it was just kind of 88. He kind of just looked like a fastball coming in, just kind of bit a little bit down, and you're looking, that looks like a fastball, and Jim was Jim with the what do you call it? Golden sombrero.
The golden. This is a great right here. You tied him up, man.
Yeah. Well, he was looking for that same fastball in, and then by the time he realized that it was, breaking, it's too late.
I want to go over the slow-mos one more time. Yeah. We love Jim. We love
Jim. Jim's the best.
Jim.
Yeah.
Tough night.
It was, and I almost feel bad picking on him. Like, I wish we could have picked out somebody better. That was a good example of an at bat where not everything goes right the entire way, and if you miss one mistake, you're done. You know.
You unintentionally opened up that part of the plate by missing arm side a few times.
Right.
And then
which is funny because pitchers will say, "Oh, I only made 2 mistakes tonight and it cost me." Bullshit. Any given night, pitchers are making 40% mistakes. It's just all about how many are capitalized on. So.
Oh man, and velo helps, and that's why those mistakes they can be missed still.
Yeah.
And that's
velo helps everything. If you're a low velo guy, you have to make less mistakes than a guy that throws 100. And I mean, there's all sorts of different aspects to it, whether it's, life on the fastball and, this guy's 93, looks like 96, and, all that other stuff that's involved. But if you have a fastball that gets on guys, it makes life a lot easier.
We got a different Phil Hughes now. This is veteran Phil Hughes for at bat number 2. You can see the facial hair because you're not a Yankee anymore.
That's right. 5 years later.
The flow you had the flow back then. The flow's looking good. This is... I mean, is this your career year, 2014?
I mean, so there's the year I made the All-Star game, which is always special to me, but I had a kind of a bad fall off second half.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, one single year as a total. Yeah, this would have been it. 2014, my first year actually with the Twins.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to be out there pretty much every day with you, and I do remember this game. We're in Fenway, and as you can see, you're still in the game, 102 pitches. Boston's leading 2-1, and you got the big boy up. But can you preface this at bat a little bit for us?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what happened prior to this, other than we were just watching, and there was some ball off the wall, and I think Pedroia got thrown out at second or something like that, because it was indeed a double, not a homer. So there's a man on third, 2 outs. David Ortiz is coming up, and Napoli's on deck. And you can roll it, and
okay.
We can go from there.
There he is.
So 102 pitches. Andy comes out to the mound. Rick Anderson, awesome dude.
Suzuki
and he's
behind the plate.
Yeah, Suzuki behind the plate. And he's saying, so Gardy wants me to intentionally walk Ortiz.
And what's he saying to you?
So he says, why? If you go back, you'll see it. So he said intentionally why, and I say, I got this guy.
You said, I got this guy.
Yeah. No way I got this guy. Let me have him. And Andy's like, oh shit, I got to go back to the dugout and tell Gardy that you told him no. And so he's basically saying like you better come at him, don't miss over the plate. And
I love this.
Because and this is
what was your mindset there? Did Napoli have
so
numbers?
What's funny is so Napoli just owned me. And I'm sure they were just going by the book. They're like, ooh, lefty versus a righty. We'd rather have the right-hander up. And I'm thinking, like, no way, dude. Like, let me get Ortiz. I felt really good about my at-bats against him. Not only in this game, but back in Minnesota, I think just a few weeks prior to this. And so I really wanted this at-bat. And I didn't want to face Napoli. So I told Andy to let me have Ortiz. And he's like, all right. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. So I kind of when I think about it, I think the pitch mix that you have plays well against lefties. Are your splits like really bad? Are they
my splits were really good against lefties and poor against righties.
That's kind of how your pitch mix works. I mean, if you watched the last video, you saw the bat against Thome, and I feel like that plays for a lot of lefty swings. So
Right. So
you were one of they asked you to walk. I said hell no.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking like, dude, if I have to face Napoli, like we're gonna be in a hole that we can't come back from at 2-1. So
all right, there he is. That's the guy you wanted to face? Okay.
That's the one I wanted to face and hard in, that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, hold on 1 second right there. He's swinging
pretty much 92 right down the middle.
But look at him open up right here.
Yeah.
See if I can.
No, he was geared for it. That's what I had done to him the whole night so far. I mean, that's middle. And it's not 96, 97, that's 92, but I was just going right after him. Because I did not want to face the guy on deck, and I wanted this inning to be over right here. So
it looked like he was swinging right where Kurt's glove was set up, maybe for like the cutter, and then you kind of blew a four-seamer right by him right there.
Yeah. So he's definitely cheating in at this point. But we go back in there again because I want to get a hard fastball under his hands. And I miss up again. I don't get it in there. I miss up and away, and all he can do is foul it off. But we talked about this on the last episode too. It's like I was so aggressive and so just coming right after him that I felt like that tick of whatever it was just made the difference in, me dictating how this at bat was going to go.
You were walking off the mound right there after those two pitches, and you're exuding exactly what you're saying. Like you're just putting it out there. You look like you're in control. This is 104 pitches in. You look great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's like the thing that I would express to like any, kind of younger players watching or whatever is like your mound presence, your body language can mean so much in the game, not only from, the way people perceive you, but also to the, to the hitter. So, and this was an at bat where I felt very confident, and I pretty much, I missed right down the middle and like belly button away to a guy that normally takes advantage of mistakes like that. But I was going right after him.
I will say that in facing you, you do have, I don't want to call it a hitch, but a little hiccup in timing. It's not like a smooth delivery where you kind of really get on it and you're like everybody else. There's a little hitch there, and I remember facing you, and sometimes if the hitter's not in sync with that, you can be just that bit off on your pitches, and it almost looks like David, although he's faced you a bunch, so he knows that already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd faced him a ton up to this point.
A ton.
I had a good game plan for him, and I don't know if he was almost a little frustrated that he was missing these pitches.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wanted this guy to be my last out, and we'll see how it goes.
Two heaters.
Two fastballs that were meant to be in, that missed kind of middle and middle up. And at this point, I think I go right to it if I'm not mistaken.
Straight back to it?
No, I think we go backdoor cutter.
Okay. Oh, I like that pitch right there because you see his hips open up twice there.
Yeah, he's cheating. He's cheating in, and this was a pitch that we had gotten him out on a couple times prior to this. And I just really wanted to execute one here. Just, the last thing you want to do on 0-2 is just pull it a little bit and it's over the middle of the plate. But this is like one where if I have to make a pitch in a game right here at my 105th pitch of the night, like I got to execute this one. You know what I mean? You throw out the other 100, whatever, like this is the one that you need to execute in a big moment in Fenway. I think it's Saturday night. This is the pitch. So,
and because he is opening up like that, if you start that pitch off the plate and bring it back, it's going to look like a million miles away to him.
Right.
And there's really no.
But keep in mind, this was a sequence that we had done to him a lot. So he was, I think he was conscious of it. But you can only look for two things, you can't be like, okay, well, he might come in, he might also go away. I got to be aware of both of those without, cause he was a cheater, he's a guy that's he's going to look for a pitch in a count and open up on it and try to drive the ball. So he does have holes in his swing if we're one step ahead of him. So,
all right, let's see, baby. Kurt setting up away off the plate.
Yeah, he wants it way away. He doesn't want a mistake. And it was just about perfect. He's opening up. Flares a little fly ball to the left. Willingham was, kind of having some some issues out there. But yeah, you'll see. So basically, I wanted this to be just a I mean, that's just exactly where it needed to be.
Exactly where you wanted it. I mean, you see where Kurt's set up.
It wasn't like a give up pitch where it was just off the plate. It wasn't pulled. It was just, executed to the outer corner and got out of a inning, gave us a chance in the ninth. But, and what's funny about this, and I don't think they show it on camera, is Guardy's up on the top step as I'm walking off the mound.
Oh, Doge.
Oh, nice.
Hey, let me get some love. Ooh, that was nasty. All right, I was looking for a slow-mo, but they didn't have it. But go ahead. Guardy's on the top step.
So Guardy's on the top step, and literally he's doing this. basically like saying big balls. Like he was fired up about that because he wanted me to walk Ortiz. And it wasn't because I was some, stubborn idiot. Like I just really liked my chances a lot more against Ortiz than Napoli in that situation. But, that was a pretty crucial, turning point in that game. Unfortunately, we didn't score any runs in the ninth. So I got saddled with the complete game loss there, but that's the way that those things can go sometimes.
We've had a few pitchers on here now, and almost every single one of them, if not every single one, talks about like that conviction thing, like believing in the pitch and just like caring about that and the execution of it, and like really not caring who's in the box, not caring about this or that. It's like, I'm going to execute my pitch, and if I do, you're out. So we do have the young guys watching. That is something that we try to tell them. Like, this is the attitude that you have to have. Yeah.
Confidence, conviction in your pitches. I would say if you did a study on guys that were, confident in what they were doing, same talent, whatever the case may be, a person that's, confident in their bullpen sessions is going to execute, I would say 20-30% more pitches than someone that doesn't feel good about what they're doing or doesn't think it's right, doesn't think it's the right grip. And it's probably true for hitters too. I mean, if you're, tweaking something with your swing, or you're trying something new that's uncomfortable, if you believe in it, you're probably going to have a lot more success than if you're skeptical or, oh, this is crap. Like, I don't think this is going to work, whatever it is.
Absolutely. There's very few things that in this game that you can say like 100% you have to do this. Like, there's a million ways to do different things. Your setup, everything about your swing for you on the hill. There's a ton of things, but the one thing that is 100% is that confidence level. That's the separator. You see it all the times in the minor leagues, guys that have this stuff, but they don't have that confidence, or they can't bounce back. I mean, they don't end up panning out the way they should. So cool of you to talk about that. And again, I appreciate you coming on. Everybody go follow and subscribe to Phil's Pulls. It's on Twitter. It's on IG. It's on YouTube. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Phil, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Anytime.